So many issues being thrown up by President Trump in his statements. And earlier I was joined by Republican Congressman Joe Wilson, senior Republican on a couple of key committees here. And I started by asking him about another one of those issues, a statement by President Trump at the weekend that compared to Putin, America was not so innocent.
No, and I looked at his prior history working with Stalin. And we know that his a demonic background, and so it was not a reflection on America as much as it was that we've worked with people who we can look back and say it would have been better to have worked with someone else. But that's who was there.
In general, do you think, I mean, he's sold himself as the president who can make a better bargain for the country. Do you think he's too soft on Putin? He's like the one person he won't criticize.
Well, and he really is trying to reach out to the Russian Federation, and many of us had hoped in UK and US for a very positive and bright future after the Cold War for the Russian Federation, but it's not turned out that way, which is so disappointing. And so he's still reaching out a hand of friendship for change in the relationship between the Russian Federation and the rest of the world.
Now, an important step that we saw at the end of last week, the National Security Advisor saying Iran was on notice as a result of its missile test. How dangerous is that in terms of tensions in the region, that they might misinterpret what's being said, maybe attack US forces, something like that?
Well, sadly, they already have attacked US forces and then captured US forces, and then it was believed that the most recent attack on a ship was intended to be an attack on an American position. What should be a danger to the Western world?
This was off Yemen.
Off of Yemen, and but the danger to the Western world is that there was the dangerous Iranian nuclear deal, and then at the same time they're developing ICBMs. There's only one purpose for an ICBM, is to deliver a nuclear weapon. They already have missiles capable of wiping the people of Israel off the face of the earth. But this could be a danger to the people of Western Europe and the United States as they develop a missile capability, and it shows such bad faith.
With the language changing in the way it is on Iran, do you think that nuclear deal, which obviously President Trump has been very critical of, can actually survive?
No, and it was really a poorly agreed to situation that really there's no safeguards in it. It's really appalling to me, and I'm really grateful that that Congress itself did not favor the dangerous Iranian nuclear deal.
Probably the most controversial executive order so far was the one banning people from 7 countries from coming in. Now, we know there's been a big legal fight over that.
Yeah.
When you look back on that, it was part of his platform.
Yes.
But don't you think he could have gone about it in a more...
Hey, however he did it, we're really in a political war here. I personally, 8 years ago, when Mr. Obama came into office, the tradition you give a honeymoon, there's no honeymoon. President Trump truly is at war with the Democratic Party, and they're at war with him, but more at war with him than he's with them. And then sadly, we have a media here that is very supportive of the Democratic Party. But this is not new, and in fact, we have overcome this over the years.
But what about the judiciary? Because he's tweeted about so-called judges. A lot of people, even on the right of politics here, so that's dangerous language in a constitutional setup like the US.
Well, and the good news even on that, by his most recent appointment to the Supreme Court, we have a person who will really respect the role of the 3 branches of government in our country, and that is legislative, executive, and judicial. And he indicated that he would not be making law, he would be interpreting what the elected officials of the people have established. And so his actions are really very, very positive. Some of his words can certainly be taken out of context.
Lastly, the Speaker of the British Parliament, John Bercow, has said that President Trump should not come to talk to members of Parliament when he visits the UK later this year. What's your response to that?
That's very disappointing, because if ever in recent years been a more pro-British President of the United States, is Donald Trump. And it's been by his words, his assurances, with Prime Minister May of 100% standing with NATO and working to create trade relationships, but it's also been symbolic. He was the one who returned Winston Churchill the bust to the Oval Office. And then I consider it too, sadly, a slap at the Republican Party. It was the Republican Party, leaders of our party, that actually placed the bust of Winston Churchill in the U.S. Capitol building. And we urge all persons to come visit our U.S. Capitol building. They will be welcome, but they'll be particularly welcome to know that there is a bust of Winston Churchill in the U.S. Capitol building, showing our great affection for the people of the United Kingdom.
Thank you so much, Congressman.
No, thank you. My honor.
Thank you.